Sweden. What is the secret behind our rankings as one of the world's best countries to live in? A large part of the answer is right on our doorstep. Nature. Clean, vast and easy to access. Nature is literally a part of life in Sweden. It is proven that spending time in nature makes us humans more creative, removes stress, eases pain, restores mental energy, and helps us connect with our true selves. Never has the need for these things been greater around the world. That's why we would like to invite you to visit Sweden. Because Swedish nature lets you discover your human nature. Welcome! Welcome to Sweden!
Hello, everyone. Today we're presenting Welcome to Sweden. I'm Linda McCormick, Product Manager for Northern Europe at Tenon Tours, and I'm so excited to announce that we now offer customized travel programs to Sweden. This is the final presentation in our Nordic webinar series. If you missed our other presentations about Finland, Denmark, and Norway, they've been recorded and are available on our website or on YouTube. So today we're going to highlight the various regions of Sweden and what they have to offer Tenon Tours guests. But just a few things before we get started. At the end of the presentation today, there will be an opportunity to enter to win $500 off a package to Sweden with us. And in addition, we'll have some trivia questions, so pay attention during the presentation. And then finally, if you have any questions, just submit them in the comment box and we'll answer them at the end. So today, joining me is Erica Gruvberg from Visit Sweden. Hi, Erica. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's wonderful. And you've got Stockholm there behind you.
I do. It's my hometown, so I choose this picture.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at a map of Sweden for reference because it's a very large country. We have a lot to go through. The Swedes have a deep love of nature and a lifestyle of well-being. It's natural that sustainability is part of the lifestyle in Sweden. And then for visitors, there's several ways to be like a Swede, including participating in outdoor activities, but also staying in unique accommodations that immerse you in nature, including tree houses, ice hotels, remote cabins on the coast, in the mountains, or in the forest. So Erica, tell us a little bit about the Swedish lifestyle and nature.
Absolutely. Well, So we have a lot of nature, obviously, in our country. It's a quite large country, and we're 10 million people only. So we have nature very close. So I think it's natural in a way. From being a very young child, you're used to go with your parents out in nature. And we have something called the freedom, what do you translate as to the freedom to roam? It's called allemansrätten in Swedish. And that means that you're allowed basically to go everywhere in nature where you're not harming anything, and you're not allowed to leave any garbage, of course, but you're allowed to pick berries and mushrooms and everything you find. And Swedish people do that. So they go out and take their children with them, and it's very natural for us. And we go home to our kitchen, and then we cook this. So I'm always saying that sustainability is a little bit built into us from the very beginning. And that is very nice, of course.
Well, and that's just really amazing that that is available to everyone, and it actually transfers to visitors as well. So
it does. And actually, it's interesting because I always say that you don't understand until you sort of move abroad or travel abroad that, oh, this is not possible here, because it's so natural for you that you can sort of walk everywhere.
yeah, wow, that's really special and really a nice feature for people. They don't have to feel bad if they want to take some pictures or go for a walk, and they're not going to be trespassing. So there are, I'm sure, many unique or fun facts about Sweden. Can you share some of those with us too?
Yeah, of course. Of course I can. Well, so like I said, this is Stockholm behind me. So that's the capital of Sweden. And it's about 1 million people living in the capital. And as I said, it's 10 million in total, approximately. The language that we speak is Swedish, but you should always know, traveling to Sweden, that most Swedish people speak very good English. So you will never have a problem asking around if you speak English. And and the second largest city is Gothenburg, which is also a beautiful city that we will talk more about. The seasons in Sweden are, we have 4 very significant seasons, of course: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And it is interesting because we do have pretty warm summers. Some people think it's very cold in Sweden. It's definitely not. And I don't know what if it is the climate change. This summer it's been very warm. So you can you can be outdoors all the time. And the nice thing is also that during summertime it's very light. I mean, the sun almost never sets, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and I like that a lot, I must say. And then we have some unique facts that is interesting also for people that don't know about them. So Alfred Nobel was Swedish, if you didn't know that. So he invented the dynamite and also established, obviously, the Nobel Prizes with the fortune he made with money. And also Celsius, Anders Celsius, the Swedish astronomer, he invented the centigrade system that we have here, and the thermometer that we use, also the Celsius degree, that made it work. And also we have some really good technical. I mean, this is like in the past, but it's also happening right now, I must say. We have a lot of invention. The first pacemaker operation was in Sweden, 1958. So in medicine, we have also been in the forefront. Fika, you might have heard about fika. I think that is very interesting. That is, you can call it like a break. You take a break and have a coffee, but you also have something sweet with it, like a cinnamon bun or a saffron bun or something like that, typically Swedish. And you have that in all companies. You do it during daytime, like at least before lunch and after lunch.
Fika break. So it's more than a coffee break, right?
It is more, definitely. You sit down and you chat and you have like a little pastry or something sweet also to
So
keep
it's
you
very
going.
deliberate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very nice. So everybody knows about that, and you hang out with friends also, like in the weekends, having a fika,
Mhm.
of course. And then we have some Swedish companies. I'm not sure if you know all of them that are Swedish: Electrolux, Swedish; Ericsson, H&M, you might know; IKEA, of course, very Swedish; Saab, also Scania and Volvo, but also Spotify is Swedish.
Huh.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
quite a lot of companies
Yeah.
that we are proud of. So, and Sweden also was the first country to ban spanking of children by parents in 1979. So that is something that is close to my heart, very progressive when it comes to equality and, being in the forefront. And also the first country to permit sex change. In 1972, Sweden implemented legislation that allowed transgender people to legally change their gender.
That's very progressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing and just very liberal minded and very accommodating and understanding. So that's great. What good information. They're very progressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's get started looking at the various regions. So we'll start at the very top of Sweden with Swedish Lapland above the Arctic Circle. And then we'll go from the western to the southern coast and the expansive archipelago to the east of Stockholm. And in between, there are mountains, forests, lakes, rich farmland with fascinating historical and cultural sites. And everything has so much to offer Tenon tour guests, not to mention the food, art, and outdoor activities. So when you're working with Tenon Tours, you'll be customizing your itinerary with one of our specialists, one of our travel specialists, considering all of your special interests, the types of activities and sightseeing you're interested in, types of accommodations, the length of your trip and your budget, and we can provide suggestions and guidance while planning. So that's a benefit of working with Tenon Tours. You really do get what you want. It's your trip. So let's head north and take a look at a map of the Swedish Lapland region, located above the Arctic Circle. And northern Sweden is an expansive region of mountains, forests, rivers, lakes, coastline, and flourishing communities that offer art, culture, history, and cuisine. Outdoor adventures are abundant and include everything from fishing, hiking, kayaking, canoeing, and winter activities like skiing and dog sledding. It's also an excellent location to view the northern lights or bask in the midnight sun. And visitors can learn about the Sami culture and their traditional occupation of reindeer herding. We're going to hear a little bit more about the Sami culture in a bit, but we have a very brief video of the northern lights up in Lapland, and they're really remarkable. It's stunning natural phenomena that isn't guaranteed, of course. Just imagine being there.
Yes, I mean, this is amazing. It's really amazing to see. So this is what everybody hopes for, of course, going to Lapland. And this summer, I think, has been pretty good. What I heard, I haven't been there myself, unfortunately, this summer, but it's very beautiful. And Lapland has so much to offer, like you said. It's a pretty vast, big region also. So I mean, there's so much. You have the Sami culture, as you said. You have the skiing. You have, like you said, all this fantastic nature with all the mountains also. I mean, you do downhill skiing there too. That is amazing. So
And just, yeah, the stunning scenery, the panorama, and the potential to see the midnight sun and the northern lights. Here we have a picture of the midnight sun and also a picture of a panorama view of the mountains up there.
yeah.
It's pretty remote and sparsely populated. And there's a lot of nature, one of which is the Abisko National Park, one of Sweden's 30 national parks. And they have the Aurora Sky Station, which has been said to be the world's best place to experience the Northern Lights. I mean, people come from all over the world to see the Northern Lights up there. And then, of course, we talked about the Sami. The Sami are the indigenous people that live in northern Europe. So it goes through Norway, Sweden, and Finland. The Swedish Sami have a very rich culture, and they are reindeer herders, as we mentioned. And this little guy here with the awesome native, well, not native, but the awesome
the clothing. Yeah, the clothing. I mean, that is part of their culture. That is amazing. They do craftsmanship that no one else can do, basically. And they're still very, I mean, they're so proud to show every tourist that come there. They're very proud to show this. And also their cuisine, the food they're making is also, I mean, obviously very sustainable. Comes from the nature around, but it's also fantastically delicious, a lot of it. So yeah, it's very special.
And using what they find in the nature, berries and all kinds of other items, plus the reindeer that they are raising. And that's a big occupation for them. So, but one of the other highlights of northern Sweden is the Ice Hotel, and I think you may have heard about that. This is the original and first ice hotel ever. It's located in Jukkasjärvi, which is near the town of Kiruna, and it's actually been around since 1989, but not really around since then, I guess, because it melts each spring and it's redesigned and rebuilt every year. So in addition to the ice rooms, you see a couple of them there. They're all designed differently with artwork and sculptures. There are all kinds of activities and amazing cuisine. And that's a highlight for a lot of people that come to Sweden. They go up to the Ice Hotel. So it's been a continuous interesting with all the different designs each year, and they have artists come from all over the world to contribute. So we see there are the dog sledding opportunities and just sleeping on the ice blocks with reindeer skin over and then a really warm sleeping bag. So you actually may not be cold when you're in there. This town that's closest to the Ice Hotel is Kiruna. It's Sweden's northernmost town and has the world's largest underground iron ore mine. And this mine has a visitor center, so you might want to include that in a trip while you're up there. So there's quite a bit to do in Lapland. And we work with some really wonderful partners in Swedish Lapland, and we've received several greetings from them. Let's have a look.
Hi, Tenon Tours guests. My name is Cecilia. Welcome to my home here, Swedish Lapland. This is a fantastic place to be, and I would like to encourage you all to use your senses in all possible ways to learn and explore and actually enjoy our Arctic lifestyle here all year round. Welcome!
Hi, and welcome to Kiruna, Sweden's northernmost destination. My name is Elin, and I'm standing here in front of the largest and most modern underground iron ore mine in the world. Me, together with all of Kiruna Lapland, are looking forward to welcoming Tenon Tours guests. Warm welcome here.
Boris Boatin, welcome to Sápmi in Swedish Lapland. My name is Clara from Nutti Samisida. My team and I would like to invite curious Tenon Tours travelers to explore the Sami culture, nature, food and activities connected to our indigenous heritage, and of course our reindeer, which you will have as neighbors when staying at Reindeer Lodge. See you in Jukkasjärvi.
Hi, my name is Matilda and I work at the Visitor Center here in Gammelstad's church town, the most beautiful place on earth if you ask me. And we're looking forward greeting guests from Tenon Tours here to Gammelstad, and we hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
Hello, my name is Karin Åberg from Luleå Business Region. I'm here to welcome Tenon tour guests to Luleå. And this is the place where Luleå River meets the Botnian Bay Sea. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Thomas from Cape Wild, Sweden, Luleå. A little bit trouble filming this since I'm on my own at the moment, but I would love to say welcome to all the Tenon Tours partners and guests to visit us up here in Swedish Lapland and meet some of my friends, the mooses. We also have reindeer. So, very welcome from me and Sebbe.
What stunning, pristine nature. And I want to meet that moose. Doesn't that look fun? Well, just a little further south, we'll find some alpine and cross-country ski destinations, Flora and Östersund. They're also great summer destinations. So do you have any insight to this part of Sweden?
And they have been so good in sort of developing this part over the years, and now you can find, you know, close to nature in such a good way. You have so much activities, so basically this is a place where it's so great to go year around now. In the winter time, a lot of Swedish people go there skiing downhill, so it's the most popular place, resort, or no, well, they have a few resorts there too, but it's the most popular place to go downhill skiing, and it's really, really good. But of course, you have so many other activities during the winter time. Dog sledding, as you said. You have cross-country skiing, ice skating, and in the summertime, as you see on the pictures here, you can do a lot of amazing things too. So yeah, I really like Jämtland.
Oh, and that, yeah, there's just look at the beautiful lake, and would imagine kayaking and canoeing or hiking would be also possible. We actually have a greeting from one of our tourism partners in Jämtland too.
Hi, my name is Therese Rydin and I'm the CEO of Jämtland Härjedalen Tourism. We are looking forward to welcome Tenon Tours guests to our beautiful region. Did you actually know that the Loch Ness Monster's cousin actually lives here, the Great Lake Monster? It's true, because I've seen him.
Did you know that, Erica?
Yeah, I've heard that before. I haven't met him though.
Okay. I don't know if anyone's met the Loch Ness Monster either, though. So they're just hiding. So, well, I think it'd be a great time for a couple of trivia questions to win some Tenon Tours merchandise. So you can type your answers in the comment box, and the first people with the correct answers will win it, and we'll announce it later on. So Erica, take it away.
Great. So first question is, in which city is the world's largest underground iron ore mine located? And the second question is, what year was the first ice hotel built?
Okay, good luck. Hopefully people were listening.
Good luck.
Good. So let's make our way a little bit further south into southern Sweden and including the west coast. And we can take a look at this map to get our bearings. So west and southern Sweden kind of goes all the way around the edge there, and very diverse from east coast to west coast, cities, towns, and stunning landscape in between. And on the west coast, we find the city of Gothenburg and the Bohuslän archipelago, which is right outside the city. There we find lots of islands, just as we were talking about before. And Erica, maybe you could talk a little bit about this part of Sweden.
Yes, of course. Gothenburg is, like I said in the beginning, the second largest city of Sweden. And it is a beautiful place, and you're so close. Just like in Stockholm, you have nature basically around the corner. So it's located right by the sea, and you have a beautiful outside, as you see in the pictures here. You have a beautiful archipelago. It's a little bit different than the Stockholm archipelago, but we can come back to that. The Gothenburg archipelago is a lot of cliffs, beautiful cliffs, and you have many, many islands. It's not as many as the Stockholm archipelago, but it is very beautiful. And of course, you can do kayaking, you can do sailing, you can go with what do you call it? The ferries out to all of the big islands too. And in the bottom right picture, you see Marstrand, which is one of the very popular places. So you can go to these harbors by boat, or if you go you can go by your own boat or with passenger boats, and they have very nice. So it's small villages as well. So here they have people living year round, and they have very nice restaurants and everything.
Yeah, and Marstrand has a beautiful fortress, right?
Yes, that's right. It is really interesting to go up there, and it's a beautiful view and everything too. Yes.
Yeah. Very good highlight. And then we have the rock carvings here, which are UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is fascinating to go and visit.
Yes, absolutely. That is also, I mean, we have a lot of history in this region, so that is very interesting, that part.
And not to mention, you know, in Gothenburg there are art museums, and it's a very cosmopolitan city with restaurants and great hotels.
Absolutely. And it has been, I don't know if everyone knows this. Of course we do, because we're so proud of it. It's been named the world's most sustainable city for 2 years in a row, I think it is.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. So they work very much with sustainability.
That's so important these days.
Yeah,
it's becoming, you know, really, really important. So that's great. Well, that's a beautiful place to visit. And then we can go inland just a bit into the interior. We have some other sightseeing here with the landscapes. We have the cathedral here in the upper left corner, dating back to 1145. Really amazing. And then going biking up in the upper right corner, beautiful trails. And then this red house down in the lower left corner, that to me is idyllic Sweden, the way the fences and everything.
Yeah, it's very true. You would find that all over Sweden, actually, not only in this region. So that is something that, as you say, it's very special for Sweden, these red houses with white on the sides. You find them all over Sweden.
And then that unique fence is really special too. Mm-hmm. And then the forests are really everywhere for just taking a stroll or a longer hike, and dense forests, beautiful lush scenery. And then some of our viewers may be familiar with Swedish crystal, such as Orrefors or Kosta Boda. And the Kingdom of Crystal is in southern Sweden and features several glassworks in this small area, all doing different techniques of glassworks. So you can go and visit various glassworks and see them working. The artisans are using old techniques to do the glass. And it's really, really something to watch. They're very talented. And then we have Kalmar Castle. It's a grand castle in the Kalmar city over on the eastern coast. And then in the middle, there are a couple big lakes, the Lake Vattern and Vänern, right?
Yes, correct.
All right.
Yeah, and if you go from Kalmar, you can also go over to Öland, the big island, which is south of Gotland. I mean, there are two big islands in the Baltic Sea that belongs to Sweden. They also have a very beautiful nature.
Okay. And Åland, you can get to, you said Åland, you can get there by ferry, or is there a bridge?
There's a bridge.
Okay, great. Well, we'll move on to Gotland in a minute, but I want to announce our winners for the trivia questions. We have 2 winners. We have Michelle and Melissa. Thank you very much for submitting your correct answers, and we'll be getting you some Tenon Tours merchandise. Thank you. So let's just move to Gotland, as long as we were talking about the islands off the coast, off the east coast in the Baltic Sea. We have a map of Gotland. Well, you can see where it's located, and that is part of Sweden. The main town is Visby, and it's actually the best preserved fortified trading town in Northern Europe and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's an amazing place. So Gotland, I've been a lot in my life, and it has I'm very fond of Gotland. It's a very special place, I think. It's not like if you go from mainland Sweden, it's different. The nature is a little bit different. You have various other flowers a little bit, and a different kind of nature, and it's so beautiful. You have you have a Viking history here on Gotland that is very interesting too. I think they have a festival like every summer, and there's a lot of there you see like an old Viking ship, yes, on the right hand, I think. So there are many of these sites that are historically super interesting. And you also have the city wall that is fully preserved, that is around the whole town of Visby, which makes it very special. You feel like you're almost like in a medieval town when you're walking around in Visby. So, and they have a lot of also local produce, fantastic restaurants, a lot of fresh seafood. And it's also interesting to know that the Swedish film director Ingmar Bergman, that a lot of people know about, he lived and worked on Gotland for 40 years. And there is now what you call the Bergman Cultural Center that focuses on his life and works. So that is also very interesting. And also to mention that Gotland has 92 medieval churches from the 12th to the 15th centuries. So even if you're not like in Visby, around the city wall, it feels the same when you go around. It feels sometimes that you are transported back in time in a way.
And that's remarkable that everything is so well preserved, and the intact city wall, that's remarkable. We actually have a video. We can take a quick look at this short video that shows the unique coastline too, because they have these sea stacks that are limestone.
Yeah, they are all around at different places on Gotland, and they're very spectacular. It's amazing to walk there, and a lot of people I like too, even though I've been there several times, you always find new angles. It's a great place for photos, because I also think the light in Gotland is very special. The sunlight, somehow it's different from the mainland.
Oh, that would add a different perspective, I'm sure, to being there and photographs. Yes, I'm sure just, over millions of years of wind, these sea stacks have been carved into these awesome sculptures.
Yeah.
Mother Nature's artwork, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it's very easy to get to Gotland. It's accessible by ferry or flight. So it's not hard to put into an itinerary. And I don't know, I know it's very common for Swedes to visit and maybe other Europeans, but for Americans to go and visit, that would be something off the beaten path for sure.
Yeah.
So turning north a bit, we'll come to the central part of Sweden, and that's where we find Stockholm and some charming towns, rich farmland, forests, shimmering lakes, and of course the archipelago. And do we have a map of central Sweden to show the location? Okay, so it's just inland from Gotland there, and we'll find several really awesome places to visit. Erica, do you have any insight for this part?
Yes, of course. So it's a big region, sort of there in the middle, with Stockholm on the very east coast. But we can talk also about Dalarna, which is a very special place that is more in the middle, a little bit north. They have interesting copper mine in Falun, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is very interesting to visit. And in this region, this region is also home to the orange dollar horse that a lot of people have seen. I think we're gonna show a little bit more about that. Yeah, there it is. And they have done it the same way for generations. And this is also the place where artists Carl Larsson and Anders Zorn lived in Dalarna to get their inspiration, and you can visit sort of their homes there also. And it's also an excellent location for outdoor activities such as hiking and cross-country skiing. You also have in this region Uppsala, which is a very famous university town. It's right north of Stockholm. And you have also south of Stockholm, Gripsholm Castle, which is also a fantastic castle if you want to have some historic history.
Yeah, and that's very easy to visit from Stockholm.
Yes, very easy.
Back about Carl Larsson and Anders Zorn, the two artists, one thing that I find remarkable is when you go to visit Carl Larsson's home, it jumps out at you. They're exactly what his paintings are. So he painted his family and everything they did around the house and in the yard and all of his children. And it's just a really cool place to visit to see his inspiration. And the same with Anders Zorn. His inspiration was the Swedish nature around where he was living. And it's just magical to see their work and where they did their beautiful work. So that's definitely something I would recommend people add if they are into art at all, or even if you're not. It's authentically Swedish. So here we have a picture of the Gripsholm Castle in the upper left corner. And that is just grand. And then we have the Uppsala Cathedral down in the middle there, Carl Larsson's home in the lower left corner, and just beautiful, remarkable scenery there as well. And then we talked about the Dala horse, the orange Dala horse, which may be familiar with some people. It's still carved and painted by hand after 300 years. So they're keeping that tradition alive. And we have a short video that shows an artist at work. So it's carved, and then they do painting the entire horse, but then it's finished off by hand with all the decorative markings there. And these days, it's not just an orange horse. They come in many different colors and sizes. So you might see black or blue or white. So they've expanded a little bit, but it's fun. And you can go watch them at one or two. There are a couple locations in the Dalarna area where you can actually go and watch the artists at work. Fascinating. So let's take a look at Stockholm, which behind you, it's built on 14 islands. So it's very influenced by water and nature, of course. And we have a video that'll show us a bird's eye view of the city. And we can get a little narration as we fly through the air in Sweden's capital.
Yeah, and we're starting off by the city hall, and here we come in over one of the islands called Kastellholmen, which is a beautiful place. You can go by bridge. We have 5 skyscrapers in Stockholm. That's at least what we call them. I don't think they really are. This is, I think, Södermalm, one of the islands. Here you can go over to the island called Djurgården, which has many of the museums. And it's a beautiful place with a lot of nature as well. This is the Nordic Museum. You see the building here that is closing up. And here is Old Town, which is, of course, one of the most amazing places since it's so old. It's the oldest part of Stockholm. And here you have Skeppsholmen, which is another island. You're flying over here. And this is like the old part of the South Island, Södermalm. There you still have artists living in those like old cottages that are kept. This is the city hall where we started, which has 3 crowns representing Sweden.
Wow, and there's just so much water and bridges, so it's really easy to get around. You can walk and enjoy all the water. And the one thing about the city hall, which I think is great, is you can go to the top into the tower.
You can, absolutely.
You can walk up there.
Yeah, you can walk up there, and yeah, it's a beautiful view, obviously, when you come up there.
And then on all the different islands are different communities or different neighborhoods, and a lot have museums. So if we go out to Djurgården, that's where Skansen Open Air Museum is, the Vasa Ship Museum and the Nordic Museum. And the Vasa Ship Museum is housing the ship that sunk on the maiden voyage in 1628, which is fascinating. And it was brought to the surface after 300 years down under the water, and now it's all preserved and in this building that was built specifically for it. You see that there on the lower right corner. And then on the left corner in the lower part is Drottningholm Castle or Palace, where the royal family lives. And that is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then the top 2 pictures are the old town, Gamla, one in the summer and then one in the winter. And in the winter, they have a great Christmas market. And I love that picture shows the snow falling, and it's just magical in Stockholm or anywhere in Sweden during Christmas.
Absolutely.
And just meandering through Gamla, the old town, with all of the cobblestone streets and narrow little alleyways. You can get lost, but you'll never get lost because you'll end up, on the edge and come to the water. But it's really fun just to walk around, and all the colors, the buildings are painted just beautiful colors, and they have restaurants, cafes, shops, hotels, and people live there too. So it's really, really fun to just wander around Old Town. And then also in Stockholm, you can take a boat trip within the city, going under all the bridges, or go out to the archipelago. You can rent a bike or kayak or just walk along the waterways. So it's just really easy to get around. And this is showing some of the transportation in the archipelago. So it's really easy to get around. We have some partners in Stockholm, and I'm really excited to say that we've got some greetings from them too.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle from Visit Stockholm, and I'm standing here in our capital, built on 14 islands and surrounded by water. Not to mention the other 30,000 islands in the archipelago, so a lot to discover here. We're looking forward to welcome all Tenon Tours guests soon. See you later.
Hi everyone, and very welcome to ABBA the Museum in Stockholm. We want to welcome you, especially Tenon Tours guests, to be able to visit ABBA the Museum and walk in, dance out, and dance with us here at ABBA the Museum in Stockholm. Very welcome.
Hi you all, beautiful Tenon Tours travelers. Welcome to the Vasa Museum in Stockholm, Sweden. Scandinavia's most visited museum and the world's only raised and preserved 17th century warship. My name is Mattias Andersson, and together with all my colleagues, we'd like to meet and greet you and tell you the full story.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and get that ABBA museum on your itinerary too. I hear that's a lot of fun.
The
So,
ABBA Museum, yeah, that is amazing. It's a must.
yeah, great. So we mentioned Stockholm's at the edge of this archipelago with over 30,000 islands. And we saw some of the transportation options to get there earlier. Now we have a video that again is a bird's eye view, but what better way to see all the islands from that perspective? And you have some personal experience with the archipelago.
I do. We have a summer house in Dalarö, it's called. So I've spent actually many summers sailing in the Stockholm archipelago. So for me, that's the best place to be during summertime. So the 30,000 islands, it's pretty amazing because you can find your own spot, like even in the midst of the summer, where a lot of Swedes obviously have boats and they go out during the summer and the vacation. But even if you go out, there's so many islands, so you can find your own spot every night where you don't see a single other person if you want to. Or you can go to one of the harbors and eat at nice restaurants, which is also on some of the bigger islands. But some of the islands are, of course, very tiny, and some are bigger. But it is amazing. And during the summer, the water is normally getting warm, so it's no problem. You go swimming. There are also beautiful beaches at some places. There are cliffs at some places where you can swim. And you can also, in many places, of course, rent boats or kayaks, and there are tours you can go with. But it's a lot of people going out and living, as you see here, in their summer houses during their vacation or during summertime. And here you see like a passenger ferry, I think. So between all the big islands, you can take from Stockholm very easily ferries out to the different islands to explore.
Yeah, it's so convenient. You can do island hopping day trips or multi-day trips and spend the night on shore. And there's a great network of boats. So if you take a main boat from Stockholm to another place, you can get a smaller boat that'll take you further out, depending where you want to go. So it's really amazing. It's busy though, so if you do go during high season, you should have advanced tickets and everything. But it's very, very accessible, and it's a wonderland, honestly. We were able to do that a couple years ago and just got on the boat, and we spent the night in a castle on Vaxholm. So that was fun.
No, and there's glamping, there's smaller like bed and breakfast places that are amazing too, but there are also hotels. So, I mean, there's a lot to offer.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to thank you for a moment, and we'll see you toward the end here. We're going to welcome another one of our great partners. If you've been here with us for previous Nordic presentations, you would have met my next guest, who is an invaluable partner and colleague of Tenon Tours. I'd like to introduce Marcella Infantino, CEO of Via Hansa Borealis and the main office in Copenhagen. Welcome, Marcella.
Hello, Linda. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here again. I might have met some of you before, and as we have expressed earlier, it is such a pleasure to be invited to these sessions. They are amazing. Also, I'm also learning new things. Scandinavia, the Nordic countries are huge destinations, and Sweden is one of them. I know that I have only like 10 minutes and there is so much to talk about. So I will try to give you like a little potpourri of what Sweden can offer. It is an amazing country, independently of where you are. Linda and Visit Sweden had been going through the different areas of the country. I cannot deny that Stockholm is probably the most beautiful city, capital of the Nordic countries. It is surrounded by water. It is an amazing city, very, very elegant. And it offers the possibility to combine city life with nature. So one of the things that I would like to address is that when I see travelers only using 1 night, 2 nights in Stockholm, I think that this is really a pity. It is a city that has so much to offer that you can very, very easily plan a stay in Stockholm 5, 6 nights, and you will still need time to see everything. One of the pictures that Linda is sharing with us here, you can see the apple trees where we have people sitting under them. This is actually from one of probably my favorite spot in Stockholm. And this is a place, it's called Rosendal Cafe. It is a cafe that is located in the island of the animals that is called Djurgården, where you find the ABBA Museum and the Vasa Museum. And this is actually a cafe that has been built in a greenhouse. It is very, very organic, and the food they prepare there is very Swedish. I think that this is the place where you can experience the best fika in Stockholm. If you have not heard about what the fika, the Swedish fika, it means the coffee break in a way. This is something that the Swedish, they do several times during the day. They grab a coffee and always with a bun or something. So if you are in Stockholm, if you are planning a trip to Stockholm, I think that this is one of the hidden gems of the city. It is used by the Swedish and very easy to combine with a visit to the Vasa Museum and the ABBA Museum. Really a must for a lunch, or just relaxing under the apple trees. People, they go into the greenhouse, they grab their lunch tray, and then they will go to the apple tree garden and enjoy the meal there. One of the other things that Stockholm offers is the possibility to combine, as I said, the city and the nature. Staying in Stockholm, we have the possibility to offer you to enjoy a safari in the forest where you can see moose and different animals, and also the possibility to do this, even if you are not looking for hiking tours. It is possible to do. We can do meals in the outdoor meals prepared on the fire, and you don't need to move away from the city. It is also possible to enjoy the canals in the city by kayaking. We have seen how travelers of all ages have the possibility to do this, and as we have heard about the archipelago, it gives so multiple possibilities to enjoy it in different ways. We have heard about the possibility to go hopping from island to island, where you can stay in bed and breakfast hotels, but we can also offer you the possibility to visit the archipelago overnighting in a boat, in a private yacht. We can do tours of 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, depending on what your travelers are up to. But yeah, let's leave Stockholm. It is a city of opportunities. One of the spots that I also would like to mention is the Östermalmshall, where it is a food market where you find amazing restaurants. You can go there doing like different tastings. And one spot not to be missed is Lisa Elmqvist restaurant, which is a fish restaurant, and you will have the possibility to taste different national dishes. I would also like to talk a little bit about Swedish Lapland, because when we think about the Nordic countries, it is no secret that Finland was the pioneer to promote the Lapland. So today, when we compare the Swedish Lapland to the Norwegian and the Finnish Lapland, there is a very, very big advantage visiting Swedish Lapland, and this is that it is not crowded. It is very, very unique. It is quite exclusive. The infrastructure of the Swedish Lapland has not been yet developed to welcome mass tourism. I don't think that they will ever do that. I don't think this is in the interest of the country. So it is a Lapland which is very, very genuine. You will find special accommodations like the Arctic Bath Hotel, like the Tree Hotel. All these places are experiences that are really, really, really unique. Actually, not possible to find in other parts of Lapland. But there is so much to talk about. But make a note in your notebook about the Arctic Bath, the Tree Hotel in the heart of Lapland. And remember that the possibilities that we have to do tailor-made in Swedish Lapland is actually amazing. The Sami culture lives also in Sweden, Swedish Lapland, in a more untouched way. You have cities like Jokkmokk, where among other things, you can meet my friend behind me. This is Anna. Anna is Sami, and she is a reindeer herder together with her husband, Erik. And we can arrange a visit to their home where you will sit in a gota together with Anna. Anna will be cooking on the fire with the pots and the pans, and you will just sit around with her while she will tell you stories about her life, her children, her husband, and her everyday life with the reindeer. Well, I don't know how much time I have, Linda. You can tell me.
Oh, the passion you have and your insights are amazing. It's just the way you can compare the different Laplands, which is amazing too. So obviously Sweden has so much to offer. A little more rustic, perhaps, but
exactly, it is more rustic, and I live in Rovaniemi myself, but I'm of course roaming between all the Laplands, and it is not that I prefer one to the other, but we need to point out the differences between them. And in Norway you have this amazing coast. In Finland you have the hospitality of the Finnish people and the infrastructure that is amazing. And in Sweden, you will be on a more adventurous trip, you can say. It is more rustic. You have these amazing destinations like Abisko, like Riksgränsen, where the nature is really, you will feel very, very, very small. And now that we're talking about Lapland, I also would like to mention the possibility that you have to transport with the Arctic route. The Arctic route is a transportation network of buses that will allow you to travel in Lapland, in all the three Laplands, and especially also in the Swedish Lapland, without driving if you are not comfortable. But I would also like to say that Sweden, the possibility that the highways and the roads in Sweden give you to enjoy a self-drive tour, they are really, really amazing. So please don't be afraid of doing a self-drive tour there.
Oh, that's good to know. Really good to know. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your passion with us.
Thank you so much, Linda, and welcome to Sweden.
We'll have you come back for Q&A a little while.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, Marcella. Well, I want to welcome Erica back because we are going to talk about food now. And welcome back. Food is an important part of experience any country's culture, and some of us may know a few things about Swedish food, but it's more than meatballs, right?
Yeah, it is for sure. We have very many different, I mean, of course, we have so many international influences in Stockholm, and everywhere you go in Sweden, you can find amazing. But I think you should always try, when you come here, you should find this very special food. So, for instance, on the upper left here, you see crayfish, Swedish crayfish. They are they come in a little bit different. They're different on the East Coast and the West Coast. That's also interesting to know. And they're sort of competing which is the best. But we have a tradition. You're only allowed to fish them in August. And that is an experience by itself to do that. You can do that both on the East Coast and the West Coast. You can be part of a boat trip and go out fishing. You do it during nighttime. So it's very special. And we prepare them in a special way. So the taste, you have dill is an important ingredient. Then you have the potato pancake on the upper right corner, which is also very special. You eat that with lingonberries and a kind of like bacon, you can say. But the lingonberries is also an important ingredient in many dishes in Sweden.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the cinnamon bun represents the fika. So, I mean, I think we consume quite many cinnamon buns in Sweden. People have that for fika all the time. We also have some other special, like princess cake, you might have heard of, with the marzipan that is green. Exactly, there you have a picture of that. A lot of people wish for that at their birthday. So normally you sing in the morning and you come in with a princess cake to the person having their birthday. And then, of course, you have the very up in the north, talking about Lapland, you have the very tasty cloudberries that are very special. You only find them up north in Sweden.
Yes. And that's a delicacy.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing I want to mention too that we didn't have a picture of, but herring and akavit. So herring is very important to the Swedish palate, right?
Absolutely. We have on all the important traditions like midsummer and also Christmas, and also Easter, actually, we always have herring and aquavit, and we sing songs. It's very special. You have your aquavit and we sing these crazy songs, and we have herring in different forms, and people do their own recipes with all sorts of herring. And yeah, you should try it. It's amazing. It's so good.
And pairing it with the akavit depending on the herring. So there's a specific akavit that goes with the herring. It's a very specific experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you get really into it, you can have different almost like tastings around that. Yes.
And that can be incorporated into an itinerary too. Akavit tasting.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned midsummer. That is something very authentically Swedish, midsummer. And that's a holiday.
True. So I would say midsummer is more important for Swedish people than Christmas. It's our most important holiday in Sweden. So it's very special. Everyone is celebrating midsummer. It's a holiday and people do it all across the country. These are pictures from Dalarna, which is like the heart of the midsummer celebrations, you can say. They have even more traditions. I mean, everybody has traditions, but here you have everybody have special clothing. They have special dances. You rise this midsummer pole and we dance around it. So it's a lot of, and we eat special food, and there's special games for the children. So it's very much a family gathering. But it's all across. I mean, you don't have to go to Dalarna. In every little town, you would have a midsummer pole. Everybody and people, if you don't get to a public place, I mean, there are many public places over the city, hundreds, or over the country, hundreds and hundreds. But people also do them in their own backyards and raise midsummer poles everywhere.
So visitors can participate in the celebration too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's open for everyone. So all these in every city, it's open for everyone. So wherever you go, there will be a celebration. So it's not hard at all to find.
And that's the longest day of the year. It's
the longest day of the year, and that is what we're celebrating. Exactly. And it's very special because even in the south, I mean, of course, in the north at this time of year, it's I think it's like it's always a Friday by end of June, and in the north, of course, you have the midnight sun, but in all over the country, it's almost not getting dark. So it's very light even during
all night.
Yeah, people are staying up like all night long.
Definitely. Well, and we've talked about the sustainability in Sweden, and that it's a leader when it comes to renewable energy, hydroelectric, wind and solar power. So in addition to having a sustainable lifestyle, the Swedish government and the Swedish companies are all, getting involved in the renewable energy. And you'll see the solar panels and wind turbines, electric charging stations for cars, electric garbage trucks. So many ways to use the alternative energy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're even into a lot. Actually, they're also in the forefront now when it comes to electric aviation, airplanes. So we're in collaborating, of course, with other countries, but we're in the forefront there.
That's amazing. And I heard something, is it true that Sweden imports other countries' garbage since they're so good at recycling?
It's actually true, yes. I don't know to what extent today, but it has happened definitely. So it's not only a say. We are, I think, the best country in the world when it comes to what do you call it? Recycle, and almost everything. We're super good at that, and we have done it for such a long time. It's like almost in our genes now.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the lifestyle again. From long ago. And so when we come to transportation, in addition to, having the renewable energy, there are ways to travel sustainably around the country as a visitor by train. There are a lot of, good bus connections, excellent transportation network, ferry crossings. You can combine Sweden with the other Nordic countries, for example, Finland, by traveling on this ferry, Silja Tallink, or you can go to Norway by train, or Denmark by train. So it's right in the middle of the Nordic countries. So you definitely want to try and combine it with some others if you can. So we have a couple more trivia questions here. So Erica, want to take those?
Yeah, absolutely. So third question of today is, how many islands are in the Stockholm archipelago? And then the fourth question, what do the Swedes call a coffee break?
Very good. Awesome. Well, we should have some answers here. So let's have some final words from you about why travelers should choose Sweden.
Oh, I think Sweden is, as you've seen on the map, I should say, it's the biggest country in the Nordics. So we have so much to offer. I mean, if you go from the north to the south, it's a total different experience. So wherever you go, and also west to east, you have oceans on both sides, but also very different in terms of both nature and also which kind of fish and animal you would find. So it's an amazing country to do like a round trip, I would say, to stay. I mean, it's perfect way. And as you say, the transportation, however way you want to go, if you want to drive a car, if you want to go by train, if you're going to take a bus, or if you want to fly, it's very easy to get around. And you will have so many different fantastic experiences that are very unique. So I think that's the most important thing. And it's also very interesting to go any time of the year, I would say. You have different activities, and the nature is fantastic, both during like all seasons, I would say. It has something to offer.
Yeah. And I just wonder, is there a good time to visit? Is there a best time at all? Or
I mean, if you want to experience the light, of course, that is during the summertime, because then the sun sets very late, and the sunrise is very early, and that is very special, of course. But depending on what you like and what you want to experience, because in the winter time you have the snow, and that lights up also. You have snow sometimes in the south too, but definitely in Stockholm and up north.
Right.
And you have all the activities around that. When all the lakes we have, and also actually the sea, when they freeze, you have ice skating. You can do a lot of fantastic experience that in the way you see nature from a total different side than during the summer.
Well, and it's great to know that regardless of when people can travel, and that these days might be the question is when people can actually travel, that there's something to do no matter when you go. So
yeah.
It's awesome. Well, I want to welcome Marcella back, because we will have some questions and answers here. Hopefully we've got some questions from viewers. If you have any questions, please definitely put them in the comment box. Welcome back, Marcella.
Thank you very much.
I just want to mention that we will have a grand prize drawing, $500 off a package to Sweden. And we'll have a link on the screen here shortly where you can register for that prize. And then the winner will be randomly selected and contacted next Wednesday, which is August 31st. So here we'll be putting that link up. And good luck if you're going to register for that. And then I think we had a question earlier about, Marcella, you had mentioned that fish restaurant in Stockholm. What was the name of it?
Lisa Elmqvist. It is an institution. It is located in Östermalmshallen in the very center of Stockholm. And it is closed during Sundays. If you would like to enjoy it, it is actually during lunch, where it is very bustling. You have to go there very early or make a reservation. It is always packed.
Okay, and we put that name up on the screen there so you can see the spelling.
And can I write that?
Yep. Actually, I think it's up there. So people can check it out if you're planning to go to Stockholm. So do we have any other questions? The Vasa is amazing. Yes, the Vasa ship museum is amazing, definitely. It's really remarkable to know that it was down in the water for 300 years, and it was preserved and brought up for us to enjoy. And then someone else, I love the Old Town Stockholm. Yep, there's nothing like it. So we hope that we can send you all to Stockholm and to Sweden. And I want to just let you know, Erica and Marcella, it's been wonderful speaking with you about the amazing experiences that Sweden has to offer our guests. And thank you so much, Erica and Marcella, for being here with us. It's been a pleasure. And thank you, everyone, all of our viewers, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.